It's the Old Stoney's podcast right here on Talkcast PDX and, of course, on Facebook Live at KenneCast420 and all over the place. Check us out. We're on Twitch. We're on Twitter. Myself, Justin McDonald, along with my compadre, Matt Crisione. How are you, Matt?
Doing well, man. I hope everyone else is doing good, too. Man, it was pretty warm yesterday. Felt like spring.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was a good day, and it felt like spring for sure. My electric car loves the warm days. I can tell you that. Don't like the cold days so much, but it likes the warm days. But before we get started, wardrobe check. I'm wearing Taste of Cascadia. If you can see it, my T-shirt. If you follow them on Instagram, you want to check them out. Taste of Cascadia. And then I got a little classic DG.
Willamette Valley Alchemy today.
Go
check those guys out. They do some really good work. Nice. Good oils from those guys.
And I'm sporting the hat. Old Schooly Deschutes Growery today. So, I got about 100 and some hats in my closet.
Right.
Go to budtendershirts.com if you'd like to help support the show. Buy a shirt, budtendershirts.com. We'll flash that up during the show from time to time. And then, of course, follow us on Instagram at the Old Stonies. That's at the Old Stonies. And then, we're always at Talkcast PDX. We're live right now there, and you can go to talkcastpdx.com, and you can check us out while we're live. Isn't that cool? Yep. How we can just be live everywhere?
It's amazing. I've gotten pretty used to it now. It used to freak me out, but, you just kind of, did it. So I've gotten used to it now. Hi, everybody.
We're going to bring in our guest for today's program. Also, later on, we'll do Munchies of the Week. We will do cannabis news, and we will talk about what we are smoking or ingesting. But right now, Farmer Tom is with us. Today, we farm. Farmer Tom Lauerman on location. I take it you are at the farm.
Yes, sir. I don't leave much these days, and I like it. So
nice. Yeah. I'm gonna check out and I'll be with my weed. All right, you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Right. Well, I'll be with my weed and with my veggies, and we've really ramped things up this year. So
that's awesome.
Tell us, if people who don't know you, let's just do a little introduction of yourself. Tell people, what you do.
Well, we grow vegetables and cannabis and hemp, and I have a school, Hemp Farming Academy. I do a lot of consulting on large operations. We're working in the Bible Belt right now. Pretty excited about that. And then we've got work in Thailand right now and a few other things happening. We're doing some test studies right now here on the farm for a frequency machine that puts out this certain frequency, and it's supposed to affect the plant. So we're doing a year-long study on those. So, yeah, super busy and loving it. So it's so nice that we have this kind of technology. So I can get on Zoom or I can talk on Google Meets and with people around the world. And it makes it so easy to do my work, And my vision was always to be able to stay on my farm and farm while, having an income coming in. So this whole COVID thing, I had been traveling like the last 8 years like a wild man. So I've kind of just toned it back, been here on the farm and just digging the whole process. I always say I like to follow the sun and do what's next on the farm. And that's what I've been doing for the last year and a half, and I'm digging it.
That's rad. COVID's forced a lot of us to change the way that we do things. And it looks like it's kind of turned out for the more positive for you because you get to spend more time on your land.
Yeah, I'm at home with my family and on my land and doing all the things that I've been putting off for the last few years. Like we've been doing a lot of pruning and thinning out of trees and making firewood and, just all these things. I get to do these cannabis studies and these studies here on the farm, which is really exciting also. And it's booming. It's dream. It's the dream.
It's
So
the
at the
dream,
farm,
baby.
so tell me about the farm. What crops do you grow at the farm? At
We
your farm?
grow a wide range of vegetables,
Mm-hmm.
like all of them. So we grow brassicas and we grow salad mixes and carrots and beans and cabbages and then winter vegetables like we butternut squash, spaghetti squash. Those are some of our favorite staples. I always grow extra of those, and us and the neighbors really enjoy them. And I kind of feed my neighborhood here. So, and
Nice.
then we've done a couple acres of hemp in the past few years here on the farm,
Mm-hmm.
and we have our little medical grow, where that's where I'm able to do my these studies and stuff like that, and along with the vegetables too. So
Nice.
yeah, super exciting. So that's what we got. We bought an old nursery about 18 years ago, and it had 5 100-foot greenhouses, and it was an active working nursery. The
Wow.
guy who was running it got sick, and they needed to sell it. It was like 3 landscape contractors out of Portland, so they were scrambling out of sell them. So we got a smoking deal. And
Nice.
we've been here for 18 years, and we've kind of let all the trees grow up into forest areas and stuff. And now we're having the chance to go in there and thin out the trees, and then through thinning the trees, we're able to make firewood, and we're finally able to sustain ourselves with the thinning of the trees to give us enough firewood to last the winter. So that's really, all these little things are pretty mundane to everybody else, but for me and living here for such a long time, super exciting.
Well, I used to be an arborist for Portland General Electric. So, not only are you thinning out and getting yourself firewood, but you're creating more biodiversity for plants to come into the canopy holes and to flourish. So sometimes you overforest an area, and you'll be very limited in the types of shrubs and shrubs and plants and flowers, and that affects all your bees and birds and deer coming through, and makes big difference. Makes a big difference.
Yeah, definitely. When we got here, it was just all tiny plants. Everything was 2 foot, and we just let all these areas grow up. And
Yeah.
in one area in the far back where we have our forest area and our little shelter, where we hang out, I may be doing some episodes from back there, so I'm kind of excited about that. But I cleared out this area. We took down some trees, and we just cut them at the ground. Well, the rootstock was a Bartlett pear. And I've been
Oh,
working on this Bartlett pear. I saw one Bartlett pear up at the top, and I've been working on this tree for the last 5 years.
wow.
And this year we finally cleared out all the areas where it was overshaded and gave it more direct sunlight. And I'm super excited to see what it's going to do this year.
That's
Things
awesome.
on the farm take like years and years and years. It's the society we live in now, it's like instant gratification. Well, if you got 5 or 10 grand to move in some trees with helicopters, you can have that instant gratification. But if you're a regular guy, just getting along with what he's got to get along with, things take time, and there's more
Yeah.
satisfaction in it taking time. Okay, I did this pruning this year. Okay, we'll leave it alone, and then we'll come back at harvest time and see what it produced, and then we'll make adjustments for the next year to make it even better. So yeah,
Yeah.
everything's a process, and everything takes time, and I really enjoy the whole deal.
Right
That's
on.
excellent.
Cool.
That's excellent. So I remember you taught a class, right, at the college. What was the class?
Cannabis in your health. We did taking your harvest for highest yields, and another one. I don't remember the name. Yeah, I've done a few classes, and I think I'm going to do a couple more in the summer class season. I believe. I think I'm going to do another grow class there over at Clark College.
Gotcha. And then you let the beans spill a little bit there. You said you were going to do some episodes from the back room. What are you talking about? You got a podcast coming?
Yeah, with you guys, I'm super
Yeah.
excited. Yeah. So for right now, the Jeep works great because it's super quiet. So
Yeah.
like I'm in the Jeep, it's comfortable. I can set up. I got like a little mini studio here. But we want to do some episodes from the greenhouse, and then we want to do some episodes from our forest area. We've got a little shelter back there that's kind of rustic, with the fire pit and the a whole 9 yards. So when I really need to escape society or get out of the house, I can even take my sleeping bag back there and sleep. There's a little place for a bed and a cot, and if I need to get away, I don't have to go far. And I enjoy sleeping in there during storms also. It's like when the big storms come through, all this wind, and if it gets too crazy, man, I just walk, 400 feet to the house and get my regular bed.
We get to see it now live from the greenhouse. That'd be an awesome live streaming show if you're just live from the greenhouse.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We've got a table and things set up. We're kind of getting it set up. That's kind of my main thing, is live from the greenhouse, and then we can see as everything's growing, how everything's coming along. And
your internet seems good, so
yeah. My internet's pretty good. I've learned doing these live streams that going through the Wi-Fi doesn't work so hot. Mm-hmm. But if you go through your common carrier and you got a pretty good signal, it seems to work just fine. So,
5G is pumping a lot of data now these days.
Yeah.
So
that's a whole nother ball of wax.
I remember you from the last time we talked. You were getting ready to head out to Spanibus, and now that hopefully we're on the back end of this pandemic, maybe you'll be able to get back to doing some fun events like that, or traveling around a little bit more. How was your experience in Spain, man?
Yeah, Spain has been amazing. It was amazing. I went there a few years back, and it blew my doors away. I've got a lot of friends there. Some of the guys from Granardos, they were one of the OG dispensaries there, and they grew. They came and spent a month on my farm back in, I forget, 2013, 2014. Right. Anyway, so we've got this great bond, and so yeah, we went and hung out with those guys. We went and watched Barcelona football, and went to the fruit market there. There's a big city market where there's fruits and sea fish and all the jamons and cheeses, and it's like paradise. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Barcelona's pretty badass place.
That's cool.
I like it. I even did some podcasts down there with the guys from La Canada. They have a dispensary down there too. I want to give a shout out to those guys.
Right. I would notice that a lot of the European countries are starting to open up a little bit more about cannabis, but Europe's always had a pretty good relationship with the weed anyways, in my opinion, at least. I mean, I know they crack down legally, but there's always been pockets of areas where, Amsterdam and the Netherlands areas,
Denmark,
Denmark area, where they were able to be a little bit more openly expressive with this plant.
Yeah, definitely. Barcelona's one of them too. And I've never been to Amsterdam. I've kind of wanted to, but I don't know. I think it's
commercialized as hell. I haven't.
Yeah, it's commercialized as hell.
They're just like, it's not what I wanted it to be, but I mean, everything they say is there, just a neon. And
Yeah, I mean, I really like Barcelona because they're kind of still in that whole medical phase, you know what I mean, where people are growing in their basements and here and there, and it brings back that old OG vibe,
Nice.
Yeah, that's nice. That I'd like to go just for the food alone, to be able to smoke cannabis or use cannabis and sample cuisine in Barcelona would just be, I can't get over it. I saw a lot of your pictures and stuff when you posted when you were there, and I'm just like, wow, that's great.
The food is next level. They've got their own style. Plus, it's on the water there on the Mediterranean, so there's tons of the fresh seafood, and I'm a seafood type of guy.
Yeah.
And then their jamon, and all the places where I stayed at friends' house, they all had a wheel of cheese and a big jamon and some bread, and whatever you needed to eat, it was pretty right there. Cut yourself off a slab of cheese, some jamon. Throw it on a nice fresh roll, and bam, you're ready to go.
That's
let's see. We're about 15 minutes into our live stream show today, and I think it's time for some cannabis news. Wait till you guys hear this story. Just stand by for the intro here. I got to. All right, you guys got to check this out. This guy, I got to bring it up here so you can all see it. Budman stand sold cannabis in bulk at Missouri Farmers Market. Did you guys hear about this story?
No.
Yeah, this is a produce stand that sold cannabis in bulk at St. Louis's historic Soulard Farmers Market, and it's called the Budman stand. And now he's been kicked out of the market.
I was going to say, he just did this?
Yeah, visitors couldn't believe that. I guess it happened on Saturday, and this is from Nexstar Media Wire. Andy Banker wrote the article. Visitors couldn't believe their eyes on Saturday. There were large bins of unwrapped cannabis buds for sale. One sign advertised 10 pounds for $5,000. And
wow.
more and more people started gathering around the stand, taking photos. And operators of Missouri's licensed medical marijuana dispensaries like Missouri Wild Alchemy and O'Fallon worry that the Soulard stand would add to confusion in an already confusing industry. But this guy had some cojones, didn't he?
That's some balls right there, bro.
Yeah.
He goes to the farmer's market, and then this goes down. He 10
Well, it sounds like some great branding to me, right?
Well, yeah,
so the Budman, right? He's just created himself a brand. He's got himself. Everybody's talking about it. Seems like a good move there for the brand.
Yeah. We we're talking about it. So
people gonna remember that shit. Yeah.
And they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna bust him right off the bat. They'll just tell him he can't do it. Do it anymore, and then he just kind of vanishes. We did medical farmers markets. Well, Madeline Martinez, and they had theirs, and Nikki Diggity Danks and all those places in Portland did theirs for years. And up in Washington, we had Sunshine Market. We had the original farmers market. We had, there was a few other ones too, but yeah, it was strong for a few years. That's kind of where I, got out there and really started getting on it. Was during the farmers market scene here in Washington State before I-502 kicked in.
So you knew Mike from the old cannabis club?
Oh yeah, me and Mike knew each other really well. He ran a little bit different type of farmers market. Like you had to be there for a week, and it really just didn't work out for me because I'm here in Vancouver. And sure, I'd go up for a market or two. Ideally, I could schedule one on Saturday and go to a different one on Sunday, and do 2 farmers markets and then come back home. And that's back in the day when I was couch surfing all over the place. I had like couches from the Canadian border, like all the way down to Bedford and Ashland, and actually into Humboldt that I used for years and years and years. It was super thankful for all the people who let me sleep on their couch. It was
those were the days.
It helped me get to where I am today, no doubt about it.
That's awesome. So tell us just a little bit about your history. Where did you grow up?
San Diego. I started landscaping when I was about 12 years old. So that got me into the plants, and we were planting plants. That was my first job as a kid, or one of my first jobs as a kid, planting plants and ground covers and stuff like that. So we had the pots and we had the soil, and the Mexi was coming right across the border filled with seeds. So boom, bow, pow, before you know it, we're popping beans and growing plants in the backyard by the pool equipment.
Nice.
And then, I was a surfer my whole life. So super health oriented, eating the right foods and stuff like that has been a big part of my life since I was a kid. And so growing food, and then cannabis, I found cannabis, and it was what I needed to get me through the rest of my life. So, I just kind of stayed on my passions on what I really love and the things that I'm passionate about. And well, here we are, 25. Well, since I really got into it when we were fighting for the passage of Prop 215 in California, that's kind of where I say my career started. But actually it started like when I was 13 and 14. I would buy a can of weed. Back then, I think my first or second purchase, I bought a can of weed for like $25. And a can of weed was like a Folgers coffee can. And that's where the term can came from. And then the lid was actually how much cannabis you could put on the lid of the Folgers coffee can, and that would be a lid. So that's kind of the starting of it. So I remember the first time I bought a whole can, and I was determined to learn how to roll joints, because if I learned how to roll joints and carried papers, man, the chances of me smoking more weed went up,
way up.
way up. Because most people couldn't roll joints and nobody had papers, but people always seemed to come up with some weed. So I rolled the whole can up into joints, and me and my buddies, I gave a bunch to my buddies, and we would smoke at our forts in the canyon. And you know how those old days were. You had your little fort where you went to on your BMX bikes, and then went down in there with your buddies and smoked weed, and
building jumps, going, how high can we make it? And
right.
so forth. Oh, gee whiz. Good times, old BMX times. Well, let's see, we're 21 minutes into our program. So this is Matt's favorite part of the show. This is when we do the Munchies of the week, Matt.
All right.
Time for the Munchies of the week. Listen up. Here we go. Well, we all know that using cannabis can induce your appetite to some degree, sometimes a lot, sometimes not so much, right? But I have found over the last week, since the last program, that my go-to thing has been something that I grew up with as a child, I love very much, and I figured one day I got a little too high, and I went and I bought all the stuff to make chocolate chip cookies. Toll House chocolate chip cookies. That is the munchie of the week. I couldn't get enough. I had bought like a big tub and just kept making them and then eating them. What about you guys? You like some cookies?
Who doesn't like cookies?
Chocolate chip?
Yeah.
What's your favorite types of cookies?
Let's see. I like a good oatmeal cookie. I kind of like the healthier cookies, you know what I mean? With nuts and raisins.
Yeah.
I like oatmeal. I like peanut butter cookies too, quite a bit.
As long as you don't do it in excess. Chocolate's not the unhealthiest thing you could possibly eat. As long as it's good quality chocolate.
It's that chocolate chip. It's that dough, the dough is what gets me every time. I mean, the chocolate's great, but I just feel like the dough can sometimes just be fantastic. And it's that damn Nestle's or whatever Toll House cookie. Damn those things.
Right?
Damn. That's our munchies of the week for me. So that's the cookies.
Hey, you gotta love some Girl Scout cookies too, right?
Oh
yeah.
I'm still mad that Dreyer stole my idea of putting Girl Scout cookies in ice cream. I had that idea a long, long time ago, and I knew it was this.
Although, this inflation's hit the Girl Scouts. Unfortunately, my wife pointed out to me that the boxes got smaller. We lost a few cookies. In our cookie box. Yeah, I know.
They weren't very big to start out with, that's for sure.
No, they weren't. So if you can't increase your prices, you got to decrease your sizes, and that's.
Well, this is the Old Stoney's podcast. We're chatting with Farmer Tom Lauerman. He's live from the farm right now. What's next, Farmer Tom? What do you got coming up? Besides the podcast, we talked about that. Anything else in the hopper that we should know?
Yeah, I've been working with Brandon Palma. He's from 8 Day Create. He used to be the editor of Dope Magazine, and he's an artist, and he does all kinds of cool, really cool art. He's done some work for me in the past, and we're working on a cool clothing line right now. So everything's going to be made to order. It's all going to have my signature on it, and we're going to have a numbered series. So we're going to number them all. And, I've got so many graphics from over the years that we're just going to do limited releases of these different graphics and have them numbered and kind of just roll them out over the next couple of years. So I'm super excited about that. And we're talking about some NFTs with him also, where we're going to use my graphics. And then we have some other ideas here on the farms. We're going to, to bring value to your NFT, we're going to be giving away some of the early numbers of the different products to give value to the NFT, because that's the thing with NFTs, you really got to bring value into it. So there's other things, we've got some other ideas in the cooker, but like in the next couple days, look out for my post. I'll be posting, and we'll be able to start buying the numbered series of Farmer Tom apparel, which I'm super excited about. It's really high end stuff. Fitted baseball caps and girls hoodies with the thumbs, that they love those things, and really nice thick hoodies and solid t-shirts. So yeah, super excited about that, and working with Brandon Palma. He's working with Skunk Magazine now too, and he's working with some other big time celebs too. So it's an honor for him and we've been good friends for a long time, so it's an honor to get back in touch with him and get some projects going. So yeah, I've got other stuff too. I got my soil line out there right now. We're in Bloom Garden Supplies. Okay. Hey Bloom, if you got any of your needs, they're the biggest by volume stores in the Portland area, right behind my buddies at Roots over there. Roots Organics, they're another big store.
Yep.
Yep, they've been around forever. Those two guys are my go-tos. So I've got a soil line. So I started off with the worm castings, and now we've got a seed starter mix, a regular potting soil, and a super soil.
Yeah, like a soil?
Yeah, like a super soil. So like all purpose, you just plop the plant in there and bam, you're off.
Water it, and that's all you have to do.
Yeah, pretty muchly. I encourage people to to do some extra to get what they're actually looking for. But it gives a nice start, because sometimes if these super soils are too hot, you put your plant in there and they go into shock, and then it's like a couple weeks before they kick out of the shock and start and come back in again. So what we like to do, and one of my secrets is I like to take my worm castings and then inoculate it with some extreme organics, mycorrhizos from Extreme Gardening. That's right. And their mycorrhizas, their azos and their mycos, load it all up into the worm castings and then plant into the worm castings. So it's not hot. If you don't lose days because of or weeks because your plant's trying to recover from the transplant shock.
Yeah, your inoculation is essentially helping to transport the nutrients into something the plant can use a little bit better, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's definitely more bioavailable and easier on the plant. And all we know is composts have been a huge part of my life ever since I was a kid. They've been a huge part. Landscaping. They would bring truckload of compost, and we would compost every plant, mix it in with the natural soil, and off to the races. And that's kind of been my strategy all along. Still to this day, we're always adding a ton of compost, putting all our nutrients in there, getting the soil to where we want it, and we're off to the races. So
I worked landscaping for many years too, also building rock walls and all that stuff to supplement my radio career until it took off, and always good work. What is your website if people want to get and check out everything you're doing?
Well, my website, it's we're finishing up. I bought farmertom.com. Everything's going to eventually be on farmertom.com.
Okay.
But right now it's Farmer Tom Organics. And then my information's there, and then we're going to be on 8 Day Create with our apparel line. I think within the next week. I got a call with Brandon this afternoon, so I'll nail that down and put it out there. So, but 8 Day Create, Brandon Palma, go out there. He's got some other clothing lines he does his own. He does some stuff for Skunk and another company, and I'm going to be listed and featured on his page also, where you'll be able to purchase the apparel. The numbered apparel.
You're pretty active on social media, so people can follow you there, and you'll definitely be updating us on through.
Oh yeah, definitely. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Those are my main. Those are kind of my main deals. The ones I've kind of stuck to. I don't do much Twitter. Every now and again.
Yeah, I don't either. But
there's some new ones out there.
it's extremely weed friendly from what Justin tells us.
Twitter's great. I do all kinds of weed stuff on Twitter, and they never say nothing.
They never shut down, and they won't blank your page out. So that might not
this
be
show
bad
is
idea.
Actually right now. This show is broadcasting live on Twitter right now.
Sweet.
Nice.
So, hey,
yeah, that's why I'm excited. That's why I'm excited. You guys got such a broad reach. So
yeah,
we're super excited to be a part of the team.
Let's see, we're 30 minutes in. Dude. It's time to end the show with something that we always do. What are you smoking or ingesting? We'll start with our guest. Let's go to Farmer Tom. What have you been hitting up lately?
Well, I've been smoking some high country genetics, some of the medical that we grew last year. Their UK cheese is a favorite around here on the farm for sure. So high country genetics, UK cheese, it's the bomb.
Nice. That sounds yummy. What about you, Matt?
In honor of the Grow Your 4 tournament we just had a couple weeks ago, yeah. I was actually puffing on some of my neighbor's stuff, some alien cookies that he grew that just turned out fantastic. Last summer it was kind of really hot in the beginning, but the rest of it finished out really well. We had a really good season last year. So, dude, it was good. I had a good one.
Very good, very good. And I've deliciously been enjoying from the Heights company. I've been enjoying the Fatso, which is always just a nice mellow high for me. It keeps me happy, just like the Dog Walker. Those couple of those just keep me happy.
So. That's your wheelhouse, buddy. I know.
That's what it's about.
That's it. That's what it's all about. But Farmer Tom Lauerman, we thank you so much for joining us on the Old Stoney's podcast today. And we look forward to your new podcast. What's the title of your new podcast?
This Farmer's Life.
This Farmer's Life. All right. Well, we look forward to that. I look forward to helping you with that. I look forward to hanging out and maybe even coming out to the farm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as things start cranking.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time, and we appreciate you, and we thank you for joining us on the Old Stoney's podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys. We'll talk soon.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
All right, Matt. That's another episode of the Old Stoney's podcast for us. We'll hopefully be back next week with another guest. Hopefully as cool as Farmer Tom Lauerman. We really enjoyed his time. And make sure you check out his website, Farmer Tom Organics, for right now. And then he'll have a couple other things up there for you. And then for us, follow us on Instagram at the Old Stonies, right?
Don't forget. Old Stoney's. TalkCastPDX.com.
That's right. And then check out all the Old Stoney's podcasts at TalkCastPDX.com.
Buy a shirt.
Yeah, buy a shirt at BudTenderShirts.com. Don't forget, buy a shirt. Otherwise, we might not be here next week. Who knows? We might be one shirt short. Try to say that 5 times. Buy a shirt, buy
a dog.
That's it, my friend. Well, thank you, Matt, and we'll chat at you next week.
All right, guys. See you later.
All right. Take care.